Unaware she was the $800 billion beauty mogul, Emma knelt helplessly on the cold marble floor as her husband dragged clippers across her scalp, shaving his own wife's hair to humiliate her in front of his pregnant mistress. Each strand that fell wasn't just hair, it was dignity, history, and every sacrifice she made for a man who believed she was nothing without him. Daniel stood tall, chest heaving with twisted pride, convinced he was breaking a powerless woman, but the woman he was destroying was the secret mastermind behind a global beauty empire. His pregnant mistress, glowing with entitlement, recorded the moment with a smile sharp enough to cut skin. And Mama Grace, his mother, stepped forward, spat on Emma's cheek, and hissed the words that pierced deeper than the buzzing clippers. Bald trash. The room erupted in laughter, but Emma didn't. She lifted her eyes that had once looked at Daniel with love, now filled with a silent storm he couldn't understand. He thought she was broken, humiliated, defeated, but the only thing he shattered was the last barrier holding back the truth. Because the bald trash they mocked was the owner of the very beauty empire that built the products Tonya used to feel beautiful. The same empire whose income secretly funded every luxury Daniel ever flaunted. The same empire that could erase their lives with a single signature. If they knew she was the $800 billion beauty mogul, would they have dared? If they knew her silence held more power than their cruelty, would they have mocked her? If they knew what she was about to do next, would they still be laughing or begging? Emma's breath came out slowly, controlled, even though her wrists trembled against the cold floor. The clippers hummed dangerously close to her ear, releasing clumps of her dark hair that floated before falling lifelessly around her knees. The noon sun poured through the windows, too bright, exposing every tear that Emma refused to let fall. Her scalp tingled with each pass of the blades, but the ache came from somewhere much deeper. Daniel pressed her head down as if forcing obedience. "Stay still, Emma. Don't embarrass yourself more than you already have." Embarrass herself? A flicker of memory rose. Daniel collapsing in her arms years ago after a business deal failed, sobbing that he felt like a loser. She had held him all night, whispering that failure didn't define him. She paid their rent, she fed him, she protected his ego. She was his home. But that Daniel was gone. Or maybe that Daniel never existed. Tonya giggled from behind her camera. "Daniel, turn her a bit. I want the side angle. My followers love drama." Her voice was sweet, but her eyes glittered with cruelty. Mama Grace scoffed loudly. "A woman without hair is no woman. She deserves this." Another memory burned through Emma. Mama Grace beaming at her wedding, hugging her tightly and saying, "You're too good for my son." Was that ever true, or was it just convenience? As Emma's final strands fell, she didn't sob, she didn't beg, she didn't resist. She listened, she memorized. The humiliation they believed would break her was awakening her. Outside, a car door quietly shut. None of them noticed. Daniel stepped back, admiring his work with sick satisfaction. "There, now you look like what you truly are," Emma finally whispered, barely audible. "You don't know what you've done." Daniel stepped back from Emma as if he had just completed a masterpiece, breathing hard, his eyes scanning her bare scalp with triumph. But beneath that triumph was insecurity, an insecurity Emma had learned to recognize long before he realized she saw it. He hid it with loudness, with cruelty, with dominance. And today, shaving her hair was his final attempt to control something slipping through his fingers. "Look at her, Tonya," Daniel said proudly. "She's nothing now, absolutely nothing." Tonya zoomed in with her phone, angling the camera like a seasoned influencer hungry for engagement. "Oh my God, this is gold," she whispered. "My followers will drag her. Pregnant queen versus bald wife. Viral." Emma felt a sting, not from the shaving, but from the realization that Tonya saw her humiliation as content. She remembered the first time she met Tonya at Daniel's office, a young receptionist with ambitious eyes, giggling too much at Daniel's jokes. Emma had immediately noticed the tension between them, but she pushed the thought aside, trusting Daniel, or perhaps not wanting to confront the truth. Mama Grace leaned forward, inspecting Emma as though she were livestock. Useless girl, no cooking, no children, no beauty. My son was patient for too long. Emma's nails dug into her palms. No children. That wound ran deep, deeper than any of them knew. A flashback surfaced, her sitting alone in a hospital room, clutching a test result that revealed Daniel's infertility. The doctor had insisted she not blame herself. But Emma had taken that secret home and protected his pride with it. She bore his insults, his accusations, his mother's taunts, all to shield him from the truth. Foreshadowing laced through the air now, hot and heavy. The truth they weaponized against her wasn't hers to carry. And when the right moment came, it would shatter them. Daniel kicked a clump of her hair aside. "Get up. I'm not done talking to you." Emma slowly rose, her back straight, her eyes sharper than before. The room fell slightly quieter, not because they respected her, but because something about the way she moved looked different. Calm, controlled, as though she knew something they didn't. "Daniel," Emma said softly, "look at what you've done." He scoffed. "You think you can guilt-trip me? After everything you put me through?" "What exactly did I put you through?" she asked. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came. His memory flickered, Emma paying their rent for months, Emma helping him study for promotions, Emma staying awake while he spiraled after losing his job. But he pushed it away, violently. "You're twisting things." Emma didn't reply. Silence, her old weapon, returned, and Daniel grew restless. He always hated when she grew quiet. Quiet Emma meant thinking Emma, and thinking Emma saw too much. A sharp knock rattled the front door. Daniel frowned. "Who's that?" Tonya lowered her phone. "Are you expecting someone?" Mama Grace muttered. "Nobody comes here at midday. Who is that?" The knock came again, firmer, authoritative. Emma's eyes briefly flicked toward the door. "They're here." A chill climbed Daniel's spine, but he didn't know why, not yet. The knock echoed through the house a third time, slow, deliberate, confident. Daniel finally moved toward the door, irritation swelling in his chest. "Who is disturbing my house?" he shouted. Emma didn't correct him, not yet. Ownership would be a truth best delivered at the perfect moment, not a second too early. Timing was power, a lesson her late mentor had drilled into her long before Aurora Glow existed. Mama Grace tightened her wrapper. "Daniel, don't open for strangers. It might be thieves." Tonya clutched her belly dramatically. "Yes, baby is kicking. I don't want stress. Just ignore it." But Daniel, fueled by pride and irritation, yanked open the door. Standing on the doorstep were 5 men, all in tailored black suits, their presence heavy, their posture aligned like soldiers. Daniel blinked at their badges, sharp silver emblems shaped exactly like the Aurora Glow corporate crest. He didn't recognize the crest, but Emma did. One look at the embroidered initials, a G Security Division, told her what this moment meant. Her world was stepping into theirs. The lead agent spoke with composed authority. "Good afternoon. We're here for Mrs. Cole." Daniel barked a laugh. "Mrs. Cole? She's right there, bald and useless on the floor. What business do you have with her?" The agent's eyes flickered briefly toward Emma, acknowledging her with a respectful nod. A nod she hadn't received from anyone in that house for years. A nod she used to receive from CEOs, diplomats, investors, people who had no idea she was the hidden face behind the world's most powerful beauty conglomerate. Tonya scoffed from the sofa. "Why would men in suits come for her? Are you sure you people are not lost?" The lead agent replied calmly, "We rarely get lost, ma'am, but we do come when summoned." Daniel frowned. "Summoned? By who? I didn't call you. This is my house." Emma finally spoke. "You didn't call them. I did." Her voice was calm, but something within it sliced the air. The room shifted. Tonya lowered her phone. Mama Grace stared wide-eyed. Daniel turned slowly toward Emma, confusion spreading across his face. "You?" he whispered. "Why would security in suits respond to you? You don't even have a real job." A backstory thread flashed through Emma's mind. Late nights signing contracts under pseudonyms, hiding her identity behind layers of legal anonymity. Her board insisting she build a covert protection team. Her mentor telling her, "Power must remain quiet until danger makes noise." Danger was loud today. The agent stepped forward and handed Daniel a sealed envelope. "This is for you. It contains documents relevant to Mrs. Cole's assets." Daniel's hand trembled as he took it. He didn't know why. He didn't open it. Not yet. Mama Grace hissed, "What nonsense assets? This girl doesn't own anything." The agent raised an eyebrow. "Is that so?" Emma's bald head glistened under the noon light as she stood up, slowly, deliberately. "Open it, Daniel." Her voice no longer shook. Another knock sounded behind the agents, this one sharper. Backup had arrived. Daniel swallowed hard. Nothing made sense, and yet everything was about to. Daniel stared at the envelope in his hand as if it were a live grenade. His fingers twitched, his throat bobbed, yet he couldn't bring himself to open it. The house felt smaller, tighter, as more black SUVs lined up outside. Through the open door, more agents approached, each one moving with the quiet precision of people trained to protect someone important, someone powerful, someone he had just shaved bald. "Daniel, open it," Emma repeated, her voice steady, her posture upright. Her bareness, her bald head, her bare face, no longer looked like humiliation. It looked like unveiling, strangely regal, and that unsettled him. Tonya shifted nervously on the couch. "Babe, maybe we should ask what's going on. And this is looking like something big." Mama Grace coughed sharply, masking her rising fear. "What big? This girl doesn't even own a bicycle. These men must be confused. Daniel, tell them to leave your house." But her voice cracked at the end, because even she could feel it. Power had entered the room, and it wasn't Daniel's. Daniel finally tore the envelope open, pulling out a neatly bound document. His eyes scanned the first line, and froze. "What is this?" he whispered. He read it again, and again. His lips trembled. This is the deed to the house." His voice cracked. "Emma, why is your name on everything? All of it?" Emma didn't flinch. "Because it's mine, Daniel. I paid for every brick, every tile, every piece of furniture. And you never noticed because you never asked." Flashbacks flickered like lightning across his mind. Emma handing him keys and saying, "Let's start fresh here." Emma insisting on handling paperwork because it's easier for her job. Emma quietly paying for renovations while he bragged to friends that he funded them. The truth was always there. He just never looked. "That's not possible," Mama Grace whispered, stepping backward. "You told us you were struggling. You told us she barely contributed anything." "I know what he told you," Emma replied softly, "but lies don't change documents." Daniel's world spun. He flipped to the next page, then the next. His face drained of color. "The cars?" he asked quietly. "Mine." "The accounts?" "Mine." "The land at Guarinpa?" "Also mine." He shook his head violently. "No, no. Where did you get this kind of money? Your job is nothing. Your salary is nothing. You can't afford any of this." A micro cliffhanger swelled in the room. Emma inhaled deeply, her voice almost a whisper. "Daniel, I don't have a salary. I have a company." The agent stepped aside as a woman in a sleek navy suit entered, holding a tablet. Mrs. Cole, the board meeting has been delayed as requested. Aurora Glow awaits your instructions." The room exploded into silence. Daniel felt his knees weaken. Tonia's mouth fell open. Mama Grace clutched her chest. Emma took one step forward, her truth standing beside her like a giant. The room became so silent that even the hum of the ceiling fan felt like thunder. Daniel stared at the woman in the navy suit as though seeing a ghost. His voice scraped out, weak and cracking. "Aurora." "Glow? What do you mean, the beauty company? The biggest one? The one worth—" Emma met his eyes. $800 billion. Yes, that one. Tonia staggered backward, gripping her belly. "Emma, wait. I didn't know. Daniel said you had no ambition, no job worth mentioning. He said you were only good for chores." Mama Grace grabbed a chair to steady herself. 800 what?" she shouted, her voice shaking like tin in a storm. "Emma, you're lying. You must be lying. A girl like you can't. Emma's gaze sharpened. "A girl like me can build an empire. A mother's insults cannot erase it." Mama Grace opened her mouth to speak, but the words buried themselves in her throat. The agents moved subtly, their presence now more protective, like a wall forming around Emma. The woman in the navy suit extended the tablet toward Emma, showing live surveillance feeds. Daniel's eyes bulged as he recognized them, his cruelty, Tonia's mockery. Mama Grace spitting on Emma and calling her bald trash, all recorded, all stored, all archived. "Mrs. Cole," the woman said, "the board requests confirmation on how you'd like these files handled. Public release? Legal action? Asset freeze?" Daniel dropped to his knees. "Emma, please, don't ruin me. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. If I knew—" Emma lifted a hand, silencing him. "If you knew, Daniel, you would have pretended to love me harder. That's the saddest part." Tonia knelt beside him, tears streaming. "Emma, think of my baby. Please, don't destroy its future." Emma turned to her slowly. "Your baby has a future. What you don't have is access to my resources. You built your life on my suffering. That ends today." She looked at the lead agent. "Remove them from my property, all of them." Mama Grace's eyes widened. "Emma, you can't throw me out. I'm his mother." Emma faced her with icy calm. "You called me bald trash. Today, the trash takes itself out." The agents moved forward. Daniel cried out, crawling toward her. "Emma, I'll change. I'll do anything. Just don't take everything away." Emma stepped back, her expression unreadable. "Daniel, you already did. When you shaved my hair, you cut the last tie I had to you." Tonia sobbed hysterically as the agents escorted them out, dragging their desperation behind them like broken luggage. Mama Grace cursed, screamed, and then begged. But nothing stopped the march. The door shut behind them. Silence returned, heavy but clean. Emma lifted a hand to her bald head, some fingertips brushing the soft newness. She didn't feel destroyed. She felt reborn. The woman in the navy suit bowed her head. "Madam, your car is ready. The world awaits your statement." Emma exhaled slowly, a small smile forming. Her humiliation had become her unveiling, and now the world would finally see the beauty mogul they tried to break.